Rhetorical analysis revision notes. Ideas to keep in mind as you edit and revise. One is to have an interesting essay title. Don't have it be something that is just obvious, like essay or rhetorical analysis essay. Make sure that you are adding to the argument of your paper, even through your title. Another element to look for as you're editing and revising is to avoid second-person pronouns. Now, second-person pronouns are not bad to have in writing, but with the specific genre of a rhetorical analysis, they do not really fit. So you and your just doesn't fit within that rhetorical situation that we're studying when we're doing a rhetorical analysis, which is also why we want to avoid first-person pronouns like I, we, us. Stick with the rhetorical situation. That's the speaker, the purpose, the audience, the context, the exigence. There's not really room there for I, because with most pieces, you are not part of the audience. With some, perhaps you are, but not with most. With formal academic writing, we want to avoid contractions. Contractions are not bad. They just don't really fit with a lot of academic rhetorical analysis papers. And we know that contractions are formed from two abbreviated words, like hasn't, its, doesn't, shouldn't, won't. We want to write the full words in academic essays if we are using them. If the contraction is in a quotation, we leave it alone. And that's true with first and second person pronouns as well. Another element to keep in mind is to avoid colloquial phrasing in our own writing. Now, with a rhetorical analysis, we might actually be talking about the colloquial phrasing of our author, but with our own section, we want to avoid that. Colloquialism is the use of informal words, phrases, or even slang unique to a location or period of time, like wanna, gonna, or the social media version of clout. These are part of colloquial use. Another idea to keep in mind as you are editing and revising is the very first time you mention your author, you use the full name. After that, you use an author's last name. You are not on a first name basis with your author. You don't go to their birthday parties. You don't call them by their first name. You use the last name when referencing in author. Because in a rhetorical analysis we're discussing another work, we want to properly handle the titles of works. So with that, when we're talking about a title, we want to capitalize the main words or however the title itself is referenced. We want to underline long works or italicize them, and short works are in quotation marks. Long line, short quotation. You want to have a more precise word than thing, than everything, than something, than anything. We use those types of words colloquially regularly, but there's a better word, and we want to write precisely when we are writing a rhetorical analysis essay. So be precise. You also want to avoid the unclear this. This is because, this shows, this. Tell me what this refers. Often I find that there is an unclear antecedent, so I'm left to wonder this what. So make sure that you're telling your readers this what. Also, we want to weave small pieces of text as evidence, not entire sentences. You're quoting and discussing individual words or phrases, not multiple sentences. So again, you might only talk about one word in length, not plop down a whole bunch of sentences. With a rhetorical analysis, because you are using these small pieces of text, make sure that you are still citing. If they give you line numbers, use line numbers. If they give you paragraph numbers, use paragraph numbers. If there are pages, use those. But make sure that you are citing your evidence. You also want to make sure that you're moving chronologically through the piece, and this has to do with how you're structuring it. For the most part, you want to move from top to bottom and see how that argument is building. That's what we should be looking for with our rhetorical analysis, how our writer is crafting that argument from the top down to the bottom. There are so many elements that we want to be mindful of, but I just wanted to mention a couple of them. Verify your thesis. Make sure your thesis offers a claim and answers the prompt's question. Give context, but avoid summarizing. We should have far more of your interpretation, commentary, analysis than we should have you just recapping what was already said. We want to have your insights. Ultimately, offer interpretations about why the author constructed the text in that way. What's the effect of the author's construction? You do all that, and you will make your rhetorical analysis essay better. Now go revise and edit.